Hello, Writing with Authors community. I am excited to bring you another 5-time published author with his 6th book on the way. My name is Vincent A. Lancey, and this is Writing with Authors. Today, we're bringing on not only an accomplished author, but also an accomplished entrepreneur, as he is the founder and chairman of Acceleration Partners. He's been on that entrepreneur show, so be sure to check out his journey if you are interested in entrepreneur talk. Today, we will learn about moving to outcomes, why partnerships are the future of marketing, along with the journey of his other 4 books, Elevate, Friday Forward, How to Thrive in the Virtual Workplace, and Performance Partnerships. As you know, these books are right up my alley as they are self-improvement books, and I'm always looking to grow. Robert, thank you so much for joining another podcast series with me.
Good to be back.
I'm excited to introduce you to this audience, but for everyone who has not caught your first episode, please let them know who you are.
Sure. Yeah, I have 2 different lives that intersect. I'm founder and chairman of the board of a company I started about 15 years ago called Acceleration Partners. We're a global partner marketing agency. We have about 350 people across almost 10 countries. Part of building that company was focusing on doing some things different from a culture and talent and leadership standpoint. I started to write about some of those things and kind of turned into a night career as a author and speaker. Wrote my first book on our industry called Performance Partnerships 5 years ago, and moving to outcomes is sort of the sequel of that. And then in between, I've written some books around sort of improvement, leadership, building capacity. We're a virtual team for almost 14 years. So pandemic hit, everyone's going from, what the hell are you doing to how the hell did you do that? And so I ended up speaking and talking. I was like, I'm saying the same things a lot. When I find I'm saying the same thing a lot, I tend to sit down and start writing. So that's what leads to a book.
All self-improvement books. I think every business owner, entrepreneur that I've spoken with will agree. We all wish we started reading self-improvement books a little earlier. We can always gain a little more knowledge a little earlier. And I think all of your books are going to provide a tremendous value to my audience. You mentioned you started the first book 5 years ago. Did you always want to become an author, or describe that process?
Yeah, I think like everyone, I sort of I'd love to write a book. Like I really wanted to write a book, and I always told everyone I'd like to write a book. I was actually at this event, entrepreneurial masters program. We meet with this group once a year, and we talk about things that we want to do and stuff like that. And it sounds this crazy. It was this simple and this so difficult at the same time. I left that event and I was like, I am going to publish a book by next year. And the amount of energy people can waste around, I want to write a book, then it just switched to, how am I going to write a book? Am I going to find an agent? Am I going to self-publish it? Am I going to write it? Am I going to work with a company? And then you start going through those decision trees. And, a year later, I had a published book. So I think it's, again, you can focus your energy in different places. A lot of us lie about that we don't have the time to write a book. Very few people are thorough going off into a cabin to write something. A book is written, a page or 2 a day. And sometimes it's that page that you're scrolling aimlessly through Instagram, looking at what people ate for the day. And that same 30 minutes can get 500 words off. So I try to find someone who's focused on sort of goal setting and staying in the same direction. I find that it's amazing when you redirect large amount of wasted time in a single direction, the difference between getting towards something larger that you want to accomplish and being really up to date on what everyone else is eating.
I love it. Something that worked for me a few years ago is I really started time blocking. When I went full entrepreneurship, wasted time is very easy to do when you're working on your own. I'm time blocking and I'm finishing tasks much quicker. I'm staying organized, and in turn, I am less stressed because that's how I stay organized. If I'm on top of my crap, I'm on top of my game. I think you could agree. You're a little less all over the place, and your books are going to help everyone listening on stay on track a little bit better. You want to talk about another one of your books a little bit?
Sure. Yeah. The book that's gotten the widest distribution was really my first kind of book, Elevate. And look, there's an instructive story for authors on that. So I had this Friday Forward newsletter that I had written for years. It got really popular. I think I was up to 50 or 60,000 people who read it around the world. Amazing. And loved these stories. And so I was like, oh, I'll create a compilation. Like I'll take the 52 best stories, I'll call it Friday Forward, I'll make it look like a journal. Like it'll be, people love these things, it'll be a great book. And I found an agent, and it went around and people said, look, publishers don't like compilations. And I wasn't a first time author, but I not, in that realm. And so he's like, look, I love your writing, like, but people aren't interested in a compilation. The stuff is also, you've made it available. But he's like, I think there's a story here. And so what's the story here? And I went back, and for almost 2 years, I sort of extrapolated out the lessons of those stories into this framework of capacity building, which became the basis of Elevate and is the basis of my next book, which is Elevate Your Team. Was pretty successful. I think yesterday it's almost sold 50,000 copies globally. Interesting story is, after I built that platform and whenever I went to the publisher, now that I had a relationship with it, a year later, and we published the Friday Forward book, and that's also done well. But I ended up wrapping it a little bit in so it became clear that Elevate was sort of the framework of capacity building. And then I organized all those stories around the 4 capacities. So you could either look at the theory, or you could, if you like reading the examples, and so the book sort of went, hand in hand.
I love that. Learning through others' experiences, one of my many motivations for all of these shows. You're doing a terrific job at not only motivating me, I'm sure motivating my audience just as much, to just pick it up. When you're writing, like you said, it can be just 2 pages a day. In life,
make it messy, make a bad, getting a bad 2 pages out is the key. Yeah.
You can't learn until you do it. And anything, just get some words on the paper. Eventually the ball starts rolling. Before you know it, you might go down a writing path and just look back at your clock 2 hours later and can't believe how much you got done. I remember my first book, Left for Dead, how many drafts has to be near 15 or 16, just rewriting. And I learned as a writer, I can always tweak a word, a sentence, move something. I'm in my own head. I have to just let it go. And now that's helped me improve my writing process.
Right. There's people who think forever and lay out and want to get the perfect things out. I get that in the world of typewriters, but in the world of sort of computers, right? I mean, I can't imagine how someone wrote a book on a typewriter. I mean, it would take me 12 years to write like a 50-page book. But look, in the world of computers, like, I think it's easier sometimes to just get it out and then start messing with it and move it around. And so
that's it. You can copy and paste things, move it into different chapters.
Yeah.
You have it all that. It's like a big vision board, just in a smaller section. I did the same thing. Thank you for sharing that. I would love to now switch to advice. You've done the book thing quite a few times now. What advice can you lend to everyone who's writing books?
Be really clear about why you're writing the book. Like, no BS aside. Why are you writing it? Who's it for? What do you hope that it accomplishes? Right? Because most people aren't going to sell 1 million books and make a living on it. Like, do you want this to be a platform for your business? Do you want people to hire you to speak? Do you want people to go take some action? And I think that's a very North Star orienting principle, particularly as you think about how you want to launch it, if you want to self-publish, if you want to work with a publisher, what you want to do for marketing. All of those things are really important. Look, publishers don't market books. I think I heard this, and and marketing the book is almost harder than writing the book.
Way harder.
Yeah.
I am in struggle city.
Yeah. So it is not, if you build it, they will come. So I think you need to be really purposeful around, again, if you're having some, truth serum, like, why are you writing the book? Because some of the book, right, if it's not about the reader, or if it's not anything they value or whatever, like it just might not manifest into what you want it to be.
Yes. Thank you for sharing that. Be direct with your mission. Get out there and just start writing. He's inspired me, as I said a few times.
Right for the reader, right? So someone said to me, unless you are, this is a general statement I would make, unless you are Jeff Bezos or, Elon Musk or someone like that, no one wants to read a book about how successful you are, right? I think, that is, or what you've done, like, there's got to be something in it for them.
Very well put. Provide value. I believe if you provide value, you will attract the correct audience, but be direct. You've given that advice. Given the advice, just pick up the pen or just start writing 2 pages a day. Make time, get rid of your wasted time, and you can maybe allocate it to writing a book. How can everybody find your books, find more about you?
Yeah, it's all at Robert Glazer, GLAZER.com.
Thank you, Robert, once again for coming
Thanks,
on to
Vincent.
another show. It's always great to catch up with you. And for everyone is also interested in checking out his journey on That Entrepreneur Show, scroll down in the episode description. You will find that link. And with that, we will see you on the next episode of Writing with Authors.